भुनक्तु सह नौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ नमो भगवते वैवस्वताय मृत्यवे ब्रह्मविद्याचार्याय नचिकेतसे च So this fourth section of Kathopanishad is a sadhana oriented section. So the message of this section is turn to the self within. Pay attention to consciousness within. So in this regard, our sense objects are considered to be our enemies because it will prevent withdrawing the attention. We get caught up in the outer world, and then once we are caught up in the outer world, the senses make us believe that the outer world is the most important thing. Then what happens? We completely disregard or ignore the self. That is why the name is self-ignorance. It is not self-absence. Self is there, but we are ignoring it. We are disregarding it. So that consciousness, so in order to develop respect, reverence, devotion for the self, the glory of that self is mentioned. This consciousness which you are experiencing, this consciousness is Mahantam, Vibhum, all pervading, great, the very substratum, the very support. It is an immortal thing in you. Everything else will perish, but this one thing will not perish. So once you hold on to this immortal essence in you, you will start experiencing immortality. This is the way to become immortal. Hold on to the immortal essence in you. And it is the very same consciousness which is the Lord of the universe also. The very same consciousness has become Saguna Brahma. It has got different names, Prana, Aditi, etc. So how to experience that God who is the Lord of the universe? So the term is Aditi. So Bhagavan Shankaracharya says that Aditi alone has become here also Aditi. So then he gives the meaning of the term Aditi, Shabdadinam Adanat Aditi. Adanam means to eat. So what is that Lord doing? Sitting in the hearts of all the Jivatmas. He is eating. He is becoming a Bhokta. Shabdadinam Adanat. What is he eating? Shabdasparsa Ruparasagandha. That very same Supreme Lord, identified with his limited body, now he has become a Karta Bhokta. So how to experience that God? Turn to your own heart. Guham pravishyatishthandi. He is there in the cave of the heart. So this sadhana has to be done constantly. So what is the example given? How careful we must be in life. How attentive we must be in life, like the pregnant woman attentive of her baby, the child which is growing in her womb. How careful she is. In that way, one should be careful. Or like the Agnihotri, who is careful about that fire in that sacrificial place. He sees to it that that fire is always glowing. So in the same way, one must be alert. So here, so this is the basis of all the rituals that we follow. There are so many customs that we follow in Hinduism. So that has to be linked with this. For example, we wear this Janeyu. What is the purpose of wearing this Janeyu? So when our children, they resist wearing this thread. And the parents don't have the answer. The boy asks, why should I wear? So if you have studied the Upanishad, you must say, you wear this to always remember the essence in you. You are not this mortal being. You are infinite. You are immortal. You are Satchidananda Swarupa. You are Amrutasya Putra. To remember this, you are wearing this. So every time that thread, when the attention goes, oh, there is a thread. Why is it? Oh, the purpose is this. You see? The purpose is to remind ourselves of all this. Again, people wear Rudrakshasra. What is the purpose? Remembrance of this essence. Because otherwise we get caught up in the world so much. We get caught up in Ragadvesha, Ahankara, Mamakara, Kamakrodha. We forget this. The purpose for which we are in this world. So all these are a reminder. Why we have come to this world, we must know. So there are different means. Even the sannyasis wear this dress. What is the purpose? The purpose is this. To remember, oh, I am here for a purpose. Right. Even the tilak you wear, what is the purpose? The purpose is this. Dive idya. Every day, again and again, remember this. And when is our test? Whether we have remembered properly or not, when is our test? At the time of death. At the time of death, we are tested. To what extent we have gathered these samskaras? God remembrance samskara. So Bhagavatam says the greatest attainment of a person, Janmalabhav param pumsam. What is it? The greatest attainment? Ante Narayana smritihi. At the time of death. Narayana smriti must happen. Then yes, Janmalabha. That person has truly made use of that human life. At that time, remembering God is very difficult. Why? Prana prayana samaye kafavata pittehi kantavarodhana vidhau smaranam kutaste. At the time of death, when a person is troubled by vata, pitta and kapha, kantavarodhana vidhau, when he is choked, Bhagavan, smaranam kutaste, how difficult it is to remember at that time. So unless this samskara has become really deep-rooted and strong, it doesn't come. So that is why it is said here. So that Supreme Lord, the Lord of the universe, that He Himself is there, shining as the very consciousness here. So now the Upanishad says, Yad iha tadeva amutra. There is absolutely no difference between Jivatma and Paramatma. That which is here as Jivatma, He Himself is there as Paramatma. And once again it is repeated in the reverse way. Yat amutra tad anu iha. That which is there, that very same essence, reality, truth is here also. There is no difference. In both ways is it said, to make it very clear that there is absolutely no difference. So in the equation form, how do we say? So Jivatma equal to consciousness plus BMI. Paramatma equal to consciousness plus the totality. Sukshma sthula karana prapancha in terms of Sanskrit. Consciousness identified with the causal, subtle, gross totality of the bodies. Subtle, causal, gross, cosmos. Equal to Paramatma. Jivatma is equal to consciousness plus BMI. Paramatma is equal to consciousness plus cosmos. Now what is the essence in both? BMI is something perishable. Cosmos is something perishable. The essence is consciousness. Therefore, with regard to the essence, Jivatma equal to Paramatma. What is that? Isha jivayorveshadhibhida satsvabhavato vastu kevalam. Ramana Maharshi says that. Isha and Jiva, Veshadhi Bhida. Yes. When you are paying attention to the Vesham, the costume, the dress, outer form, yes, there is difference. You can't say Ishvara is equal to Jivatma. But Sat Swabhavata, with regard to essence, Vastu Kevalam, there is only one thing. The bubble and the ocean, they are indeed different, but with regard to the essence, bubble is also water, ocean is also water. This way we equate. So this is called as Mahavakya. So the Mahavakya of Kathopanishad comes here. So now the next verse, a very important verse, very famous verse, 11th verse. Manasevedamaptavyam nehananasti kinchana mrityo samrityum gacchati ya ihananeva pashyati मनसेवेदमाप्तव्यं नेहनानास्ति किञ्चन मृत्यो समृत्युं गच्छति य इह नानेव पश्यति मनसा एव इदम् आप्तव्यम्. This state of unity of Jivatma with Paramatma, this experience of unity, how to gain it? Manasa eva. You have to get it through the mind only. Na iha nana asti kinchana. There is absolutely no difference. How do you know? You have to know it through the mind only. Now what does it mean? You have to know it through the mind. Means what? It is an understanding of the mind. Nothing will happen when you are self-realized. As far as the external thing is concerned, nothing will happen. But internally, your understanding will change. This is the thing. Mind will gain a clear understanding. This is what happens in spirituality. So the whole study, everything, what are we trying to do? We are just trying to gain the right understanding. And where should the understanding happen? It has to happen in the mind. Where else? You are dealing with the world by the right understanding of things being situation. This understanding has to happen in the mind only. Right. But what kind of mind? So Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, Acharya agama samskritena manasa aptavyam. How to educate the mind? How to develop this right understanding for the mind? Acharya agama samskritena. The mind has to be educated, and that education must come from the scriptures and the teachers. Acharya and agama. Agama means scriptures. So what is the process? First, listen. Shravanam. Listen to the scriptures. The new information comes that I am not this body, I am consciousness. Then what is the next step? Mananam. Churn. Reflect upon it. Contemplate upon these truths. Doubts will come. Clear all the doubts. And once all the doubts are cleared, there is a firm conviction. Yes, what the scriptures are saying is right. Then what has to be done? Nididhyasanam. What do we do in Nididhyasanam? shifting the mind's attention to consciousness. This is Nididhyasana. As we have seen earlier. Yena rupam rasam gandham shabdan sparshanscha maithunan etenaiva vijanati kimatra parishishyate. Yes, shifting attention to consciousness. That is called Nididhyasana. So when mind's attention goes to consciousness, what is the experience that the mind will have? The experience that the mind will have is, I am not the body, I am consciousness. Direct experience will take place. And it is this direct experience of the mind which transforms the understanding of the mind. Unless the mind experiences something, it will not understand. Understanding is not gathering information. Understanding is experiential, always. Unless the mind has experienced something, it will not understand. In spirituality, we value only experiential understanding. That understanding is called experiential knowledge. It is very different from information. Information is you read some books and you gather some information. But unless that information has become experiential, mind, we say, has not understood. Right. So when the mind shifts its attention to consciousness, it starts experiencing what? That this entity called I is consciousness and not the body. With this understanding, when the mind goes out, after looks out, now this mind will entertain desires and thoughts based on this understanding. All our thoughts, our desires, everything is based on what? Is based on our understanding. Right? So then, from that understanding is born right thoughts, right desires, right decisions, right words, right actions. Everything is right. Why? Because understanding is right now. So that's why it is said, manasa eva idam attamyam. The mind has to be educated. Right. Neha nanasti kinchana. This education has to be given to the mind. What will happen if we don't give this knowledge? Mrityo samrityam gacchati. That person will go from death to death. Yaiha nana iva pashyati. Suppose this knowledge is not given to the mind, how will the mind behave? With what understanding will the mind look into the world? Nana, the vision of plurality. He is different, she is different. Isn't it? A mind which is not educated, how will the mind see the world? Nana, vision of plurality. Plant is different, animals are different, insect is different, man is different, woman is different. How many divisions? Division based on caste, division based on religion, division based on color of the skin. How many divisions? Division based on nationality. Mrityo samrityam gacchati means what? It is not just death, meaning that person will suffer. That is the meaning. Bhagavan Shankaracharya in one place writes, these Upanishads, this Shruti Mata is like thousands of mothers. So all these statements are not curse or something. It is out of compassion that Shruti Mata is telling all this. Don't suffer like this. There is a way to come out of all suffering, and that is develop the vision of oneness. That vision of oneness is called right understanding. So with this vision that I am consciousness functioning through this body, with this vision what happens? This vision is called vision of oneness. Nanatvam is not there, only Ekatvam is there. Just like I am functioning through this body, I am consciousness functioning through this body, in the same way, all these living beings, they are also nothing but consciousness functioning through different bodies. So just like I am consciousness, others are also consciousness alone. There is no difference. This is called vision of oneness. Why this vision is auspicious? This vision of oneness is auspicious because the moment there is oneness, there is love. And wherever there is love, all the virtues manifest there. The basis of all virtues is love, and the basis of love is vision of oneness. That is why this vision is the most auspicious. And that is why this knowledge is the most auspicious. You see. And that is why Bhagavan takes avatar in order to restore this knowledge. The entire 4th chapter, you will see that this knowledge is highlighted. The 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, first it starts with the Guru Parampara. Imam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham avyayam. The Guru Parampara is mentioned there. I gave this knowledge to Vivaswan. Vivaswan gave it to Manu. Manu gave it to Ikshaku. This is how the 4th chapter begins. So this knowledge has come from me. But unfortunately, Sakaleneha mahata yogo nashtaparantapa. This knowledge, this parampara, somewhere got lost. Sa evayam maya tedya yoga proktav puratanaha. Arjuna, that very same knowledge I am giving you. I want to restore this knowledge. It should not be lost because this knowledge is the most auspicious. Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Because for dharma samsthapana, this knowledge is absolutely essential. For peace and harmony in this world, this knowledge is absolutely essential. Vision of plurality is the most dangerous thing. Vision of oneness is the most blessed, most auspicious thing. Wherever there is vision of plurality, what will happen? Fight will happen. The moment there is plurality, I am different, you are different. Then what will happen? I and mine, you and yours. Then what will happen? Comparison. Then there is competition. Then there is jealousy. There is the inferiority complex, superiority complex, fight, violence, hatred. Where is it coming from? Vision of difference. Nana. That Nana is the problem. Yehiya Nana iva pashyati mrityosa mrityam gacchati. The fellow will suffer. The pain is not only during death. Throughout life he will suffer. That's why in 2 verses it is said, Mrityosa mrityam gacchati. Right. So this whole spiritual journey is, we are not trying to change anything of the world. What are we trying to change? We are just trying to change our understanding. With this understanding, we look into the world, this perfect understanding, then there is peace. So what does Bhagavan do after taking avatar? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkratam. What is this sadhu? People who are following this is called sadhu. So if you have to do dharma samsthapana, you have to protect the dharmic people and eliminate the adharmic people. The more and more dharmic people come in the society, there is more and more dharma samsthapana. So who are these dharmic people? People who are working for this vision, they are called as sadhus. Right? Good-hearted people, noble people, saintly people. Right? And in the 18th chapter, Bhagavan says, anyone who spread this knowledge, he is my greatest devotee. And anyone who spread this knowledge, he has done the greatest service unto me. That is what 18th chapter says. There is no greater devotee than such a person. So see, so much of importance Bhagavan gives for this knowledge. Because this knowledge is the most auspicious. Right, continuing. Let us chant verse number 12. Manasa evam idam aptavim, it is said. What to do with this mind? That is answered in verse number 12. Angushthamatrah purushah madhya atmani tishtati ईशानो भूतभव्यस्य न ततो विजुगुप्सते एतत् वै तत् अंगुष्ठमात्रः पुरुषः मध्य आत्मनि तिष्ठते ईशानो भूतभव्यस्य न ततो विजुगुप्सते एतत् वै तत्. So that Lord, Madhya Atmani Tishtati, is there in Madhya, in the center of one's own being. He is seated. How is He there? Angushtamatra Purusha. Of the measure of, Matra means measure. Measure of Angushta, a thumb. These are all the, verses which are so many times misunderstood. That's why we should never study scriptures without guidance of all this. So this Lord is seated. He is of the size of a thumb and He is seated right in your center. So what is being said is, you see, you make a fist out of. You put this thumb into this fist. Correct? Now, this is the heart. And how that thumb is seated inside fist, in the same way, the Lord is seated in the heart. That is what He said. Angushtamatra Purusha Madhya Atmani Tishtati. They say that this fist is almost the size of our heart. And now the thumb you put inside. So the Lord, in short, the meaning is this much only. The Lord is seated in our hearts. This is the way to experience Him. So pay attention to your heart. Right. Now a question may come. Lord is considered to be all-pervading, and now you are saying that the Lord is seated in the heart of the size of a thumb. On one side you say Lord is all-pervading, infinite. On the other side you say Lord is the size of a thumb. This question is taken up by Bhagavan Shankaracharya. So Bhagavan says, no, what it means is, Lord is experienced in the heart. Where do you experience the Lord? You don't experience anywhere. You experience in the heart only. But once you start experiencing His presence in the heart, and with this experience, when you look out, you will find that Lord is present everywhere. You understood? How to know that Lord is all-pervading? First, try to experience Him in the heart. If you are able to find Him in the heart, you will find Him everywhere. But if you are not able to find Him here, you will not find Him anywhere. It is exactly like when you wear a specs. How to make the whole world colorful? Choose a specs which is colorful. So if there is color here, there is color everywhere. If there is no color, there is no color. This is the point. Try to experience it here. Then you will find it everywhere. Otherwise this nanatvam will continue. The vision of plurality will continue. How to get rid of the vision of plurality? Don't try to see God there. Try to see God here. This is a mistake which generally people commit, They try to find God there without finding God here. The starting point is here. When do you come to know that the dream is an illusion? Without you coming to know that you are the waker, you will never come to know that dream is an illusion. Yes or no? It is not that you, this is an illusion. No, first I am a waker. First you know yourself, and then the next step is the world appears as an illusion. So what is the first step? First step is know yourself. Then the rest, everything will follow. Don't do the other way around. Let not the cart be before the horse. That's why this verse comes here. First find out here. Experience that Lord in your heart. Then, drishtim jnanamayim krutva pashyet brahmamayam jagat. Angushtamatra purushah madhya atmani tishtati. Ishano bhutabhavyasya. Then you come to know that he is the Lord of past and future. Natato vijugupsate. After that, there is absolutely no fear. Vijugupsa is not there. Fear is not there. Hatred is not there. You become free from all these negative emotions. Next verse also is similar. Verse number 13. Angushtamatra purushah jyotiriva adhumakah Ishano bhuta bhavyasya sa eva adya sa ushvaha etat vaitat angushtamatra purushah jyotiriva adhumakah Ishano bhuta bhavyasya sa eva adya sa ushvaha vaitat. Yes. So this Angushtamatra Purusha, what is the nature of this Purusha? Adhumakaha jyotihi eva. It is like Adhumakaha jyoti. Jyoti means light. What kind of light? Adhumaka. There is no dhuma. Smokeless light. So this Purusha, this Purusha also, the meaning is Puri Shayanat iti Purusha. That entity which is residing in this Puri, in this city of 9 gates. This body is called city of 9 gates. Orifices are called gates. So, in this city, the one who resides, that's how the name comes, Purusha. Puri Shayanat. Another, what you call, etymological meaning is Purnatvat Purusha. The one who is Purna, perfect, complete, in whom nothing is lacking. That is also Purnatvat Purusha. So what is his nature? Adhumakaha Jyoti. He is the light, a smokeless light. Jyoti can also mean fire, so smokeless fire, whatever. Now, how will you define a light? So in Vedanta, for Vedanta, there is a definition. Light is that in the presence of which things are known. Light is that in the presence of which things are known. Is it okay? Yeah, fine. If this is the definition, then this consciousness is the most defect-free light. Is a perfect light, if this is the definition. You see, with the outer light, you can know only the color of a thing, the form of a thing. But what is a unique feature about this light? With this light, you can also know sound. In the light of consciousness, you know sound. In the light of consciousness, you are conscious of smell. You see, this light is able to make us know Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, all five. Whereas the outer light can show you only Rupa. Not only that, it is this with this light of consciousness, you are conscious of your thoughts. In fact, it is in this light of consciousness, you are conscious of the outer light also. The outer light is illumined in this light alone. And that is why when we do the arati, Om na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. So what is the prayer? Oh Lord, what a foolish person I am. I am trying to see you with this little light. Actually, it is with your light that I am seeing every other light. So arati is nothing but expression of our foolishness. We are admitting, oh Lord, please forgive me. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. In that light of consciousness, every other light is seen. The light of sun, moon, stars, lightning, fire. And then I am trying to see you with this light. You know, in the Indian temples, etc., the griha used to be very dark. And then with this light only you see the Lord. Right? So while doing Aarti, we should know why are we. So that Jyoti is a representation of consciousness. The ritual, that Jyoti is consciousness. So Adhumakaha, now this is also important. Adhumakaha Jyoti it is. There is no smoke. Smoke means imperfection. When the burning is not perfect, then it leads to smoke. When the burning is perfect, there is no smoke, isn't it? So here, Adhumaka Jyoti means consciousness which is perfect illuminator. Why is it called perfect? Consciousness, its very nature is knowing. Knowing is its nature. Is there any effort involved in this knowing? No. There is no effort involved in knowing because knowing is its nature. Just like there is no effort involved in fire in producing heat because heat is its nature. Whenever there is nature, there is effortlessness. So it just knows. It effortlessly knows, spontaneously knows, independently knows. It doesn't need anything to know. For the sense organs, it is not independent. Mind has to be there. Only then the sense organ will know. The mind is not independent because consciousness has to enliven. Only then the mind will know. And that is why knowing of the mind is effortful knowing. Knowing of the sense organs is effortful knowing. How do we know there is effort involved? You feel sleepy when you listen to Vedanta. Why do you feel sleepy? There is effort involved. Wherever there is effort, the Gadi is going in, gear number 1. And as the concept becomes more and more subtle and difficult, the load also increases. So as far as the consciousness is concerned, there is effortless. It is its nature. So that is the meaning. Adhumakaha Jyotihi. Defect-free knowing. And it is absolute knowing. Instrument-free knowing. Effortless knowing. Because knowing is its nature. So even when the Jivatma goes asleep, is consciousness knowing or not? Of course it is knowing. Your mind may not be knowing, but the light which is illuminating the mind is knowing. Isn't it? Jyotiriva adhumakaha. So these are all the pointers to meditate upon consciousness. Ishano bhuta bhavyasya sa eva adya sa u shvaha. That alone is now, that alone will be shvaha tomorrow. This consciousness alone is now. Now you think that something else is there. Nothing is there. He alone was, He alone is, He alone will be. It is exactly like before the movie also screen was there. While the movie going also, screen alone is there. Screen is misunderstood as movie. That's only an illusion. After the movie also, screen alone will be there. Because that is a substratum, that is only reality. Everything else is illusion. With this understanding, there is reverence and devotion for consciousness. With this devotion, may you meditate upon consciousness. What will happen if you ignore? Next verse. Again, the same topic is taken up. Verse number 14. Yathodakam durge vrishtam parvateshu vidhavati evam dharman prithak pashyan tanevanuvidhavati yathodakam durge vrishtam parvateshu vidhavati evam dharman prithak pashyan tanevanuvidhavati. An example is given. What happens to a person who ignores this knowledge, neglects this knowledge and lives his life? One example is given. Yatha, just like Durge Parvateshu, there is a high mountain. Parvateshu, mountain ranges. Vrishtam Udakam, rainwater is falling on it. What happens to that rainwater falling on the peaks of the mountains? Vidhavati, it will just run down. It will just flow. It will not be collected anywhere. It will just perish. Evam, in the same way. Dharman prithak pashyan, the person who sees differences, prithak, different. What? Dharman, the essence of a thing, being and situation. Dharman. Dharma means the essence, the nature. He's seeing the nature of every living being different. Means what? Where is his attention? The vision of plurality is when our attention is upon the external body. Because the bodies are all different. So this person considers the body itself is real, and then he is transacting with the world, seeing differences with this vision of plurality. What happens to them? Tan eva anuvidhavati. Just like the water perishes, he also perishes. The one who interacts with the world with the vision of plurality, he will just perish like the water perishing, falling on the top mountain. Now this example you can think in so many different ways. So one meaning is this. Whatever you pay attention to, that will happen to you. In the body, there is consciousness, there is physical body, isn't it? If I start paying attention only to the body and ignore the self, the fate of the body will be my fate. What is the fate of the body? It will perish. In the same way, my understanding about me will be, I am going to perish. I am going to die. Misery. See, it's very interesting. If I see myself as the body, what will I see in others? Dharman prathak pashyan. I will see others also as body only. If I see myself as the body, I will see others also as the body, and now this is the understanding. So with that faulty understanding, all my transactions also will be with regard to the body only. All these transactions will be futile transactions because these bodies are going to perish. So once you get attached to the body, you will suffer because this body will perish and it will put you in an ocean of sorrow. You see? Just like the waters perish, this person also perishes. What he said here is just like that water. He follows that, perishable water. Again, the criticism of vision of plurality. Now, this verse makes greater sense when we take the next verse. Let us see the next verse, the last one. Yathodakam shuddhe shuddham asiktam tadrugeva bhavati evam muner vijanatah atma bhavati gautama yathodakam shuddhe shuddham asiktam tadrugeva bhavati evam muner vijanatah atma bhavati gautama. So this is the verse dedicated for the wise people. The earlier verse was the ignorant ones. This is about the wise one. Yatha, just like Shuddham Udakam, pure water. Shuddhe Asiktam, when you pour it into pure water. The pure water, you are pouring it into another water. Then what happens? Tadrug eva bhavati. Both of them combine beautifully well because both of them are same. They just become one. Only pure water remains. Evam. In the same way, Vijanata Munehe Atma. In the same way, the Atma of a realized Muni. How easily the pure water merges with pure water. In the same way, the Atma of this Muni merges with Paramatma. This is the meaning. Effortlessly. So the point here is this. Two things with opposite properties cannot merge beautifully. For example, can light and darkness, can they combine? No. Either there is light or there is darkness. Things of opposite properties cannot merge and become one. Noise and silence, can it merge? Not possible. Silence and silence can merge, not noise and silence. Now the earlier example, the water is falling on the rock. Can the water join with the rock? Not possible. One is liquid, the other is solid. The one is soft, the other is hard. Just cannot. In the same way, can ignorance and knowledge go together? No way. Now, what is born out of ignorance? Ego. Can ego merge with Paramatma? Impossible. Expecting me to merge with Paramatma in my ignorance is foolish. So when a person says, my father, I have done all the kriyas for my father. He never paid attention to all the study scriptures, etc. But kriya karma I have done beautifully well. His body has been burnt in sandalwood. I am sure he must have got mukti. Is it possible? Not possible. What is moksha? Knowing yourself as pure consciousness is moksha. Others cannot give it to you. You will have to earn it. We are not criticizing all the, what you call, Shraddha karma, etc. It has its own place. But to say that my Shraddha karma will give moksha to my ancestors, impossible. Ignorance and knowledge cannot go together. Bhagavan is an embodiment of knowledge. You see the properties of ego and consciousness. What is the property of ego? Just the opposite. This is Sat. What is ego? Asat. Unreal, illusory. That is Chit. What is this? Jada. That is Ananda Swarupa. What is ego? We all know. Dukkha Swarupa. That is Aparichinna, unlimited. What is this? Parichinna, limited. That is perfect. This is imperfect. How can these two things merge and become one? So that is the example given. Water falling on rock. They just cannot become one. So therefore, the point is this. Unless we become pure, we have no entry into the kingdom of purity. And what is purity? Dropping the ego is purity. Ego is the impurity. And the moment the ego is dropped, you have become pure. And once you have become pure, you merge with God, who is purity, what you call, absolute. The moment you realize this, now this, see this, Vijanataha Munehe. Now see, it's very interesting. That merger is a very interesting process. Let us take the example of wave. So this wave thinks that I am a wave. As long as this wave thinks I am a wave, it is limited and it is separate from ocean, it is separate from all waves. But the moment it says, I am water, what happens? That very same moment, this wave has merged with the infinite water. Yes or no? See the merger. The merger is not one thing entering into other. Merger is just dropping the wrong notion that I am separate. That is merger. You are already one. Your wrong notion is preventing you from experiencing your infinite nature. Just that wrong notion. Drop that wrong notion and then you merge. Right? That is what is said here. The moment I come to know that I am consciousness, what happens to that consciousness? It is no more limited, it becomes infinite. It is not becoming infinite. Your wrong notion is just putting a wheel and making you experience that you are finite. That wheel is gone and what remains is infinity. So how easily the pure water merges with water. Actually, this Jivatma is pure only. Just like Paramatma, Jivatma is pure. But this ego, yes. So that is why Puja Gurudev's famous quote. What is that quote? No. There's a beautiful saying, Drop your ego is the only request from God. I will make you God is the promise. So what is the only request of God? Drop the ego. Once the ego is dropped, I will make you God is a promise. Because the moment the ego is gone, you are already that. Ahamapetakam nijavibhanakam mahadidam tapo ramanavagiyam. This is the Mahat Tapas. What is the Mahat Tapas? Aham apetakam. Drop your ego. This is the greatest tapas. Drop this illusory, non-existing ego. And then what remains? That is why Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi has defined quiet mind as consciousness. You see? The moment the mind becomes quiet, what remains? Consciousness alone remains. Manasa eva matavya means this. Know it through that quiet mind. When the mind becomes quiet, what remains is only consciousness. Just like when the waves become quiet, what remains is water. This is called merging. Right. So thus this beautiful Valli, is it beautiful or not? Gets over. So this is only one Valli, 2 more Vallis are there. So at the right time we will take the next Valli also. Right. Om Namo Narayanaya. 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 Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Santu Niramayah. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhaved. Asato Ma Sadgamaya. Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.